So, good day class! Nandito na naman tayo sa panibago nating lesson sa Statistics and Probability. But don't worry, basic lang to. So, ready na ba ang lahat? Okay, so let's get started. One of the most important concept in statistics na kailangan nating malaman o kailangan nating pag-aralan is yung making decisions. So sa video na to, malalaman natin kung kailan ba natin dapat i-accept o i-reject ang isang hypothesis na meron tayo o yung isang assumptions na meron tayo. For example, you are a researcher and you are planning to conduct a research. The first thing you should do is to choose a research topic. After that, formulate the statement of the problem. Next is to enumerate research questions and identify the target population. So once na alam nyo na kung ano yung target population o sino-sino ba yung target population nyo, then this is the time that you will make an assumptions or yung hypothesis. So these assumptions may or may not be true. So pwede siyang tama o pwede rin namang hindi. So tinatawag din natin tong statistical hypothesis. So what is hypothesis? A hypothesis is a proposed explanation, assertion, or assumption about a population parameter or about the distribution of a random variable. So kumbaga, yung hypothesis, siya yung claim or assumption natin dun sa research na pinag-aaralan natin. So yung gusto nating i-prove. Ang hypothesis testing naman is the statistical method applied in making decision using experiment data. So, it is basically testing an assumption that we make about a population. So, iti-test natin dito sa hypothesis testing, assumption natin kung siya ba is rejected or accepted. So, we have two types of hypothesis testing, the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So, let's first talk about the null hypothesis. So, it is the initial claim. So, ibig sabihin kung ano yung claim sa ating research, yun na rin si null hypothesis. It shows no significant difference between two parameters. It is denoted by H sub O at yung symbol na ginagamit dito is equal to. For example, may claim or study na nagsasabi na yung average na baon ng grade 11 student ay 100 pesos. So, ang null hypothesis natin ay there is no significant difference. So, kumbaga, kung ano yung claim natin or kung ano yung value na nandun sa study, yun na din yung nasa null hypothesis natin. Initial claim natin ito, so equal lang. So, kung dun sa study na yon o claim na yon 100 yung baon or average na baon ng grade 11 students, then sa null hypothesis natin, di yung average lang din na baon ng grade 11 student ay 100. So, same or equal lang. So, ganun lang ka-basic si null. Kung ano yung original claim, ganun lang din si null hypothesis. Basta, ang gamit na sign sa kanya or symbol is equal to. So, next naman is yung alternative hypothesis. The alternative hypothesis is contrary and opposite to the null hypothesis. So, ibig sabihin kung ano yung original claim ay kabaligtaran naman nun si alternative hypothesis. It shows significant difference between two parameters. It is denoted by H sub A. Yung symbol na mga ginagamit dito is not equal to, less than, and greater than. Or ito yung mga inequality symbols. While doon naman sa null hypothesis is yung mga equation na symbol or yung equation na symbol which is equal to. So, balik lang tayo doon sa ating example kanina na may claim na 100 pesos daw ang average na baon ng grade 11 students. So, sabi natin ang alternative hypothesis natin is the contrary or opposite ng ating null hypothesis. Kung ang null hypothesis natin is equal to 100, so, syempre, ang ating alternative hypothesis ay yung kabaligtaran niya. So, ibig sabihin yung ating alternative hypothesis dito is the average daily allowance of grade 11 student is not equal to 100 pesos. So, naintindihan na ba ang pinagkaiba ng null at alternative hypothesis? Madali lang naman, diba? Importante na marunong kayo or alam nyong mag-formulate ng null at alternative hypothesis. So, ulitin lang natin, ito yung mga words or symbols na ginagamit para kay null tsaka alternative. Kay null hypothesis equal to, the same as, not change from, or is, or yung is equal to. Not equal to naman kay alternative, different from, change from, not the same as, or yung not equal to na symbol. Then, greater than, above, higher than, longer than, increase kapag greater than naman. less than, below, lower than, shorter than, decrease kapag less than naman. So, that is the two types of hypothesis. So, here are more examples. So, state the null and alternative hypotheses for each statement. Okay, example number 1, yung claim natin, the average monthly income of Filipino families who belong to low-income bracket is 8,000 pesos. So, ano kaya sa palagay nyo yung magiging null hypothesis natin? Basta alalahanin nyo lang na ang ating null hypothesis is there is no significance difference sa ating claim. So, ano kaya? Okay, very good. So, ang ating null hypothesis dito is H sub O is equal to, yung average natin is equal to 8,000, or the average monthly income of Filipino families who belong to low income bracket is equal to 8,000 pesos. So, same lang siya ng original claim natin. So, paano naman kaya sa ating alternative hypothesis? Tandaan na ang alternative hypothesis is the contrary, ang opposite ng ating null hypothesis. So, ano kaya sa tingin nyo ang ating alternative hypothesis? Okay, very good. Ang ating alternative hypothesis is mu is not equal to 8,000, or the average monthly income of Filipino families who belong to low income bracket is not equal to 8,000. So, contrary or kabaligtaran ng ating null hypothesis. Okay, tingnan naman natin tong example number 2. Ang claim natin is the average number of hours that it takes a 10-year-old child to learn a certain task in a specific subject is less than 0.52 hour. So, ano kaya ang magiging null at alternative hypothesis natin? Tandaan lang na ang ating null, ito ang ating laging initial claim. So, ang initial claim natin dito is ang ating mu is equal to 0.52, or the average number of hours that it takes a 10-year-old child to learn a certain task in a specific subject is equal to 0.52 hour. So, para naman sa ating alternative hypothesis, tingnan yung ating claim, nakalagay naman na dyan is less than. So, yun ang gagamitin nating symbol sa ating alternative hypothesis. So, ang magiging alternative hypothesis natin is yung ating mu or average is less than 0.52, or the average number of hours that it takes a 10-year-old child to learn a certain task in a specific subject is less than 0.52 hour. Super basic lang, diba? So, ganyan lang naman ang ating null at alternative hypothesis. Pero kung naguguluhan pa kayo, ito pa ang more examples. For example, number 3, the mean annual income of workers who are college graduates is greater than 100,000 a year. So, ang null hypothesis natin dyan is mu is equal to 100,000. Para naman sa ating alternative, mu or the average is greater than 100,000. Okay, naintindihan na bang maigi ang ating null hypothesis at ang ating alternative hypothesis? Kung oo, try nating sagutan ang example na to. The average age of bus driver in Cavite is above 35 years old. Ano kaya ang ating null at alternative hypothesis? Yan, tama. Ang ating null hypothesis is the average age of bus driver in Cavite is equal to 35 years old. While ang ating alternative hypothesis is the average age of bus drivers in Cavite is above or greater than 35 years old. O eto pa, the average number of calories of low-calorie meal is less than 300. So ano kaya ang ating null at alternative hypothesis? So for our null, the average number of calories of low-calorie meal is equal to 300. While sa ating alternative naman is the average number of calories of low-calorie meal is less than 300. Since alam na natin kung ano yung hypothesis, let's proceed naman sa hypothesis testing. Pero bago yon, identify muna natin what is being described in each statement. Number 1, it is the probability distribution that is used to estimate population parameters when the sample size is small and or when the population variance is unknown. So, ano to? Okay, very good. This is t-distribution. Okay, for number 2, it is the value on the t-distribution that less than the probability in the given percentage. Okay, very good. This is the degrees of freedom. Okay, for number 3 naman, it is a proposed explanation, assertion, or assumption about a population parameter or about the distribution of a random variable. Okay, very good. This is hypothesis. For number 4, so write the null and alternative hypothesis. So you want to test whether the mean weight of grade 8 student is 45 kilograms. So ang ating null is the mean weight of grade 8 student is equal to 45 kilogram. Ang ating alternative naman is the mean weight of grade 8 student is not equal to 45 kilogram. So, proceed naman tayo ngayon kay level of significance. Na-meet niya na siya before. So, si level of significance is also known as the alpha. It also refers to the degree of significance in which we accept or reject the null hypothesis. Ayan, so kung natatandaan niyo pa, so yung shaded region sa right side ng ating curve is yung ating alpha. Ibig sabihin, yung alpha natin is equal to 0.05 or 5% yung ating alpha. The most common levels of significance used are 1%, 5%, or 10%. So, para mas maintindihan, let's have this example. Maria uses 5% level of significance in proving that there is no significant change in the average number of enrollees in the 10 sections for the last 2 years. Ayan, nakalagay naman po yung 5% level of significance. Ang ibig sabihin lang ng 5% level of significance is yung chance that the null hypothesis would be rejected when it is true is 5% only. So, diba, ano ba yung null hypothesis natin dyan? Diba yung there is no significant change in the average number of enrollees? So, ibig sabihin, yung chance lang na ma-reject yun is only 5% lang. Yung alpha na 0.05 is actually the area under the normal curve within the rejected region. So, once na nag-fall dun sa shaded region ng alpha natin, yung ating test value or test statistic na makakompute using t-test formula is ibig sabihin rejected yung null natin, null hypothesis. So, eto, para mas maintindihan nyo kung ano ba yung sinasabi kong rejected region, tingnan natin tong curve na to. Ayan, kung mapapansin nyo dito, yung not shaded part, yan yung ating non-rejection region. Then, yung ating shaded part, yung rejected region. Then, meron ding critical value. Ito yung t-value na makukuha natin sa ating t-table. So, si rejection region or the critical region is the set of all values of the test statistic that causes us to reject the null hypothesis. So, kapag dyan nag-fall yung ating test statistic value na mako-compute, automatic reject ang ating null hypothesis. And then, accept ang ating alternative hypothesis. Samantalang, yung non-rejection region naman, or acceptance region is the set of all values of test statistic that causes us to fail to reject the null hypothesis. Ibig sabihin lang, kung dito magpo-fall ang ating t-computed value or sa non-rejection region, automatic, we will not reject the null hypothesis. So, ibig sabihin, accept the null and reject the alternative hypothesis. Yung kabaligtaran lang. So, yon yung ating critical value naman is the point or yung boundary on the test distribution that is compared to the test statistic to determine if the null hypothesis would be rejected. So, itong critical value, ito yung t-value na nako-compute natin or nakukuha natin using t-table. So, meron din tayong tinatawag na two-tailed test at saka one-tailed test. So, madali lang din naman to. So, kapag sinabi nating two-tailed test or directional test, ito yung when the alternative hypothesis is two-sided. So, yung ating mu is not equal to mu sub 0, it is called two-tailed test. So, ibig sabihin, not equal to yung ating symbol na ginagamit dito. Dito naman sa one-tailed test or directional test, when the given statistic hypothesis assumes a less than or greater than value, it is called one-sided test. So, ang ginagamit ditong mga symbol is greater than tsaka less than. Makikita nyo naman yan on the given situation kung ano ba yung kanyang mga ginamit. So, para maintindihan nyo na, let's have examples. Identify whether the following suggests one-tailed or two-tailed test. The school registrar believed that the average number of enrollees this school year is not the same as the previous school year. So, ito ba ay one-tailed or two-tailed test? Okay, very good. This is a two-tailed test. Bakit? Ayan no, may nakalagay na is not the same as the previous school year. So, meaning, is not equal to. Okay, so next example is the school registrar believes that the average number of enrollees this school year is less than the previous school year. So, one-tailed or two-tailed? Okay, this one is a one-tailed test because of the word is less than the previous school year. So, next one is the school registrar believes that the average number of enrollees this school year is greater than the previous school year. So, one-tailed or two-tailed? Okay, very good. This is a one-tailed test because of the word is greater than the previous school year. Okay, sobrang basic lang, diba? So, kayang-kaya naman, no? So that's all. Thank you for watching. If you understand it clearly, comment down #basic statistics. If you have questions and clarifications, don't hesitate to message me directly. That's all. Goodbye, class.